first speaker is Dr. Aaron Doyle. Now, Aaron is an associate professor of sociology and criminology at Carleton University. He has researched and advocated on issues to do with the Ottawa Carleton Detention Centre and Ontario's prison system for more than 10 years. So we're very pleased to have him with us today. And over to you, Aaron.
Okay, thank you, Victor. So hi, everybody, and thanks for joining us. So I'm not a Kemptville resident, but I'm an Ontario taxpayer and voter. I've studied our prisons for many years, as Victor was saying. The province says the new jail is a, quote, essential service, unquote. So some say that if you're against the new jail, then you're a selfish NIMBY, not in my backyarder. But I want to argue that we don't need a new jail, period. It doesn't have to be in anybody's backyard. Based on the cost of similar facilities, the new Kemptville jail will cost at least $250 million to build and more than $20 million a year to operate. Assistant Deputy Minister Ellis said the jail is needed because of capacity pressures in Eastern Ontario, but I'm not seeing those capacity pressures. Firstly, the Ottawa Carleton Detention Centre was very crowded a few years ago, but it's been significantly less than full since 2017. So secondly, during the pandemic, the province released many prisoners to limit COVID outbreaks in jails, and Ontario's prison population dropped by about 30%. And something very revealing happened. There was no rash of law breaking. StatsCan crime rates actually dipped in the first 6 months of the pandemic. In fact, official crime rates in general have declined in Canada since 2000, with the 2018 crime rate around 30% lower than peak levels in 2003. Next point, most Ontario prisoners are not even serving sentences. So most prisoners are pre-trial. We say they're on remand. So they're people locked up awaiting their day in court, often for minor charges. And the province has said repeatedly, many of these people on remand could safely be in the community, and that Ontario's bail system's not working properly, so too many people are locked up. So next point, a very large number of prisoners in Ottawa are people with mental health or drug issues, often homeless and living with various kinds of trauma, people whom former Corrections Minister Yasser Naqvi said should not be jailed, but should be getting help somewhere else. The province's finances are in a mess because of the pandemic. The last thing we need is to spend $250 million on another new jail. When we build new jails, they fill, and it stops us from finding other solutions. Fix the bail system instead, house the homeless, like you keep promising to do. Ontario's behind the times on this. Other governments are recognizing that prisons are costly, harmful, and counterproductive. American states like New Jersey and Oregon are closing prisons rather than building more. More and more policymakers are seeing that prison does not rehabilitate people and instead damages them. Ontario prisons are full of poor, homeless, often racialized people who are ground down and dehumanized by deprivation, poor healthcare and food, filth, boredom, degradation, and violence. Prisons are the opposite of therapeutic. There's a ton of research evidence showing the counterproductive effects of incarceration. We're told by the ministry this new prison will somehow be different from all the others. So this time it'll be all about rehabilitation. We're told that a new building is what we need for rehabilitation, even though it will house a lot of the same staff that are going to move from the notorious Ottawa Carleton Detention Centre. These problems are systemic. You can't fix them with a new building. The province made the same kind of promises about the Southwest Detention Centre in Windsor when it opened in 2014. It didn't work. Here are some recent headlines. Overcrowding, lockdowns at Windsor Jail are a crisis, says lawyer. Guard describes the poisoned work environment at Southwest Detention Center. Inquest into death of inmate at Windsor Jail. Prisoner took her life while in custody at the Southwest Detention Center. Soon, these could be headlines about your community. Guard describes the poisoned work environment at Kemptville Jail. Another suicide at Kemptville Jail. Another lawsuit about mistreatment at Kemptville Jail. It's not a good look for the community. If the jail does create some new jobs in Kemptville, they're likely to be unhealthy jobs. Studies on the mental health of correctional officers point to high levels of PTSD, depression, anxiety, drinking, and drug use. Jail is a harmful environment for everybody. Building this prison is a major public policy mistake. The last thing I'll say is that in other places, residents have successfully fought against building new prisons. For example, in Monroe County in Indiana. We need to roll up our sleeves and get to work to fight this.